beautiful Wednesday, nice warm day. Next week we should be getting a lot of rain, thank goodness, much needed. So yeah, that song was Vicky Sampson in honor of our last guest who's just been traveling around Africa trying to figure Africa out from a PR point of view. Very, very cool interview. I like that, Peter. How are you doing?
Can't complain, doing well, thanks.
Good, we need to sort of get you out of your corner. We need to sort of maybe interview you so we can hear your voice more on the radio show. How are you doing?
Great there.
So I've been looking forward to this for 5 weeks. It would have been 4 weeks, but the man was sick last week.
Did you postpone or
Bailed on me. I was gutted. I'm just going to introduce you. So shush, I'm talking now. Rion Peterson. He's not just a sales legend. He's a co-founder of Blue Oceans Consulting. He's a leader in sales and marketing for businesses, advisors, consultants, coaches, and sales professionals. Man,
I couldn't have done it better.
Man,
I couldn't have done it.
Do you know what, bud? You've come to me with a 9-part sales explosion course.
Mm-hmm.
We've only done one course, and I feel like I can't wait for
Better or
part
worse?
Much better. Although, admittedly, I'm carrying a burden of guilt, which I don't like having. I've got enough sort of self-flagellation and guilt because I've just not got enough time to do all the things I need to do. But knowing I've got to put an article up on my every week.
I've been prompting you every week, eh? Every week.
Prompting, I call it nagging.
I actually looked at LinkedIn before I walked in.
Really?
I didn't see it.
But did you know, I've been doing voice articles. Does it count or not?
A voice article?
Yes. So I know you get posts and you
It's
get
like
articles.
a radio TV show.
Well, I basically take segments of this show, specific to financial guidance. I put it up as a podcast, as an article.
That's perfect.
Is it okay?
That's perfect.
Well, then I'm on track then.
If people will listen.
Boom! Well, that's a problem. Now, hang on a second, because we're here to develop, taking it from zero to hero in a sales point of view. And over the next 8 months, we're going to be doing that. Now, in the first sales course that we're doing, so if you're in sales, pay attention. I'm not even going to have you call in. You're going to sit there with a pen and paper and take notes, because it's powerful, powerful stuff. This is sales steroids right here, right now. In week 1 or session 1, you taught us to properly structure our LinkedIn profile.
Sure.
And you took mine and you properly improved it nicely. You told me off air that I've got to start, because I've been writing articles for Spice for Life and for LinkedIn and for other platforms and the Prism website, I've got a lot of articles I can use and I'm using them for LinkedIn. But the problem is, how do you then get people to see it?
I think what we got to understand is where we take you. So eventually, within 8 months, we're going to take you to a place where clients are going to come to you.
That's the goal.
Where you're not going to reach out to clients.
Nice.
So step 1 is always LinkedIn, and the reason why it's LinkedIn is to get your profile out, and we discussed it. You've got 5.7 million people in South Africa on LinkedIn. Most of your target audience is there, although they're not active. They will not connect with you unless your profile is set up in such a way that they understand what the value you bring. So I speak to financial advisors daily, Steve, and all they say is a financial advisor at XYZ company.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got about 22,000 financial advisors out there in the country, if I have my stats right. So 22,000 guys gunning for a typical similar target audience. If yours, which is set up properly now, stands out above the rest, above the noise, people will accept the invitation to say, well, maybe Steve knows a lot more than the guy next door, whether you do or not. They would accept that invitation. If it's a business owner and you say you help business owners get from 1 to A to Z, then the business owner will accept the invitation. So step 1 is setting it up professionally. Step 2 is connecting with the right target audience. Now there's a tool I'm going to send you in the next week, which we never had until about 6 months ago, that you can plug in on your LinkedIn profile and it invites your target audience. So you set it up once.
What?
You set it up for yourself. You say, I want to connect with business owners in the Western Cape of this size company in this industry. So you can choose industries that you want to deal with as well, as a financial advisor or consultant. Doesn't matter what you do as a sales professional. You click once and it will start going through all the profiles and collect profiles. You can collect 10,000, 15, 20,000 profiles. And then you click a button and it starts inviting.
Oh my word.
So you can literally build your database to 5, 6, 10, 15, 20,000 over a couple of months' time. It's got a protocol right now set that it'll invite about 100 people a day, but it will continue that. So you'll grow it with about 2,000 until they change that algorithm or we find a shortcut within it, but it's 2,000 people you don't have to invite them, it's targeted audience. And I think what we want to talk about tonight and what the crux is all about tonight is what is the next step. So you've now set up your profile, you know where your target audience is. We don't have to go to Yellow Pages, or you said you love cold calling, and I said to you it's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher out there to cold call and to door knock, and it is going to happen. I don't know if you saw the article I did last week. I just connected with someone on LinkedIn, and he pitched me.
Oh yes, I even commented on it. I was the first person to comment.
It's the worst pitch I've ever seen.
It was atrocious.
Yeah, I took the company out, I took the name out, but it's one of the big companies.
Really?
One of the very big companies. And as soon as he connected on LinkedIn, he sent me a pitch saying, I'm XYZ from this company, and I sell policies. And I have funeral and life and disability. Do you want one? And I freaked. And I posted this on LinkedIn, and up till today, I've had in the region of 4,500 comments and interactions on that.
Wow.
He was one of them. And I took him offline and said, listen, don't worry about it. I'm not angry with you. I'm angry with the company that appointed you
Without
and
training
told
you,
you to do this rubbish. Because how are you going to get out in the market if that's your approach? So our whole strategy and our whole approach is, guys, the market has changed. People, remember we spoke about the BS meters? It's said very finely, people don't want to take BS in this market. When you connect, especially as a financial advisor, it's as tough as, I don't want to say selling second-hand alphas, but Steve, it's really tough out there for financial advisors. It's really tough.
It really is. It's being a financial advisor, and look, we've touched on the platinum model, this concept I've created that is so worlds apart, but it's worlds apart from your traditional financial model. But how do you then go to someone and go, hi, Steve Hughes, I'm involved in the financial world. How do you then take and go, I'm a financial advisor?
So the first thing they say is you're an insurance broker and you want to sell me something.
Exactly.
That's the first thing
wall
that goes
comes
in their
up.
heads. Unless your approach is different. And when your approach is different, people accept it. And the approach can only be different when people come to you and say, Steve, I like what you say and I like the way you're dealing with it. And my broker or advisor has just cheesed me off or done something wrong, or I'm looking for a second opinion. Now you're the go-to guy.
So true.
When you are not known in the market, and LinkedIn is one of those profiles that you can get known in the market and start authenticating yourself as an advisor. And people won't necessarily, when you write articles, and we're going to chat about articles now, but once you start engaging, like your podcast series, like your articles, people will read it and you'll see initially there's a very small take on it. You might have 5 likes or 10 interactions or 20 interactions. The more you do it and the more followers you have, so you've got a base of 20,000, obviously you'll have more interaction. Every time there's interaction, when you say something on LinkedIn and when you write an article over LinkedIn, there's more credibility that's building towards your personal brand. Because companies aren't brands anymore. Unfortunately not. You know, if I deal with a big insurance company, I'm not going to mention a name, I deal with a person or the advisor or the broker.
Well, if that broker leaves the company, there's a good chance you're going to follow the broker because you've got to establish a relationship with the individual.
Yeah, it's not the company that's great. Although they've got great products, it's not the company. It's like a banker and a bank manager. I might have a couple of guys swear at me tonight, but a bank is as good as the bank manager. I always believe it. I think most people believe that. The fact is, when you start engaging, so your second step, you set up your profile, you start inviting people, and you got to do this on a daily and a weekly and a monthly basis.
So I should now, because we set up the profile.
Yeah.
You actually did it for me. And good job there. You made me sound awesome.
Good, hey?
Yeah.
Did I change the picture? Well, that was pretty good.
You leave my picture alone.
It was.
It was good. Leave my beard.
You were shaved.
I was shaved.
Yeah, you look.
Yeah, my wife has an affair twice a year, once with a bearded guy and once without. So I just keep it myself. She gets bored of the hairless Steve, and then she gets the bearded Steve until she's bored of that.
Oh, so that's perfect.
But how do I have to still continue inviting people? Because there's a way of doing it. You shouldn't just click the invite and have an unpersonal or a generic introduction why they should connect. I listened to a podcast, a sales podcast, where they actually say, connect with a person, find out a little bit about them before you send the invite.
So you can do that? I don't.
Don't you? Do you just click
Depends
invite?
who the person is. If it's a really high profile CEO of a company.
Yeah, I deal with C-suite.
Then you're gonna personalize it, but you can personalize the message. You can copy and paste the message in a personalized tone to say, listen, I think I can add value. Let's connect.
Really? Do you even hear it from an add value point of view? Look,
You
we all know that if you
be
get an invite,
authentic.
others will read it. Okay.
People are going to look at your profile. They're going to see somewhere between the lines of radio commentator and the fancy words of the platinum that you're a financial advisor.
Can I say something along the lines of, hi, Mr. Visa.
Yes, yes.
Tough
You're
luck.
stuck.
Yeah.
No, Mr. X.
Yeah.
I'd like to, welcome. I'd like to connect. I'm sending you this invite. I would like to sort of see somewhere down the line if there's value to add between our relationship, but I don't want to do that now. I would like to invite you because I feel that my articles might be of interest to you.
Blah, blah,
Too long.
blah.
But I don't want to.
Blah.
They know that they want to
It's
be
a CEO. So, Aaron Ross wrote a book.
pitched. Mhm.
He was the guy that implemented a strategy for Salesforce that took them from 0 to hero in 5 or 8 years.
Yeah.
He added 100 million recurring monthly income in Salesforce. And he specifically went to CEOs. And they figured out after trial and error that if you're going to communicate with a CEO, it's a one-liner.
Mm.
The guys are busy. They don't want pictures. They get pictures 50 times a day. You tell them what it is you want to do in one sentence, and you will get the attention. And he went as far as saying, and there's a good strategy in place, and I don't want to overrun the time here because I get too excited about this stuff. But if you're going to pitch to a CEO, and we tried it, and I hope they're not listening, but one of the very big companies here, mobile company, went to the CEO that I was connected with on LinkedIn, and I said, John, please refer me to the right person to have a conversation about your sales strategy.
Just that.
Within 2 hours, he referred me to Peter, which was the head of distribution. I forwarded the email that I received from the CEO, say, speak to Peter. I sent it to Peter and said, your CEO said I must speak to you. When can we chat?
Boom! Right.
He's not
there.
going to refuse the appointment.
Oh, hell no.
So it's a strategy that's been tried and tested in the big organizations. And the straighter you are with a CEO or C-suite or higher valued individuals, the more they appreciate it. Because they're not idiots, Steve.
Hi, Peter. I want to find out who's the right person to speak to regarding reviewing
Your pension
fund. That, boom, full
Boom.
stop. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Boom.
Wow, we're gonna take a small
You
break
should
now.
try it.
I'm gonna. You better believe it. I'm gonna be awake until from 3 o'clock until 5 o'clock again. I'm gonna be doing it for those 2 hours. I'm gonna take a small break now
Sure.
because I want to kick off straight after this next song with the lesson on writing articles. Keep it locked on to 94.0. If you've got any questions regarding sales, send them through now during the song, and we might be able to squeeze in a couple of answers. But this is pure power. Keep it locked on to 1FM. You, if you're involved in sales, how to be a proper salesperson. Don't mess around with Nancy sales hard pitches. Just make it real.
Cold calling, Steve.
Cold calling. I like it, bud. But I like it
I know
from
you
a
do.
disruptive point of view.
Ask yourself this. Do your
Pull the
clients-
microphone closer.
Do your clients like it?
They do.
Do they?
Yeah.
But you got a nice voice. You just discussed.
Well, it's more than that. It's a case of there's. I don't go in from a one hat kind of guy. You know, I'm a partner in Macrocosm Ultra Digital, which is an amazingly powerful online marketing company. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a writer of finance articles. I'm a radio presenter and producer. I'm a financial specialist. I'm the founder of the Platinum Model. So I walk into any cold
Sure.
call, and it might not be the guy can help me, but that guy might be looking for something. I go, oh, you know what? I did an interview with XYZ. Let me introduce you to.
Mhm.
And then, wow, all of a sudden I'm helping him out. Interesting.
Perfect.
And that's why I don't go in there. I like shattering perceptions, and I like seeing the human interaction of that. So for me, it's a social experiment rather than a
You
sales
want to have
experiment.
about 3% that can do it properly.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
Proper.
I struggle on the phone because it's a lot easier for someone to be rude to you on the phone and shut you down totally. Whereas if you're there and you're facing, you just walked on the
Sure,
door. and go,
that's walk
Exactly.
into a different story.
Different story.
But cold calling on the phone,
It's tough,
you
but
know,
I'll do it.
2 seconds and you don't get a hold
Yeah.
of people.
Yeah, so true. But anyway, listen, I'm going to sit back and just
Let's
look
dive
pretty.
in.
Talk to
So,
me.
Session 1, setting up LinkedIn, plus inviting people. Now you've done that.
Yes.
Unless you engage your audience, they're not going to know about you within a week. So that's very important. And a lot of people jump on LinkedIn, they set up profiles and they go away. And then they try and pitch over LinkedIn via emails or download the database, and the people don't know who they are. So unless you have a certain level of credibility with a person that you want to face, they're not going to allow you in the door. And the only way to start building your credibility, especially in your kind of industry and any high profile consulting, even into corporate markets, Steve, people will not open the door unless you have a certain level of credibility or authority. That's why people are writing books. You can see the Corpus Claims writing books. All the top guys are writing books to get. There's a guy out there, John Sunny. I don't know if you've seen him.
Mm-mm.
He's
I know
just
Corpus
gone
Claim.
from zero to hero. He's a public speaker in a question of a year. He's written 2 books, best-selling books. He's now
What?
moving somewhere else. I mean, he's just pumping.
What's his background?
I have no idea.
Financial advising,
We
sales?
connected. I looked at his podcasts. He used podcasts. So one of the interesting things. Let's get back to articles first.
Please.
You've engaged. You're building up your target audience. Now this is the yellow pages of 1987 on steroids, because you've got photos, you've got background, you know who the people are, where they work, what their companies' line names are, but you can't go and pitch them now. You've got to build a certain level of credibility, and the way to do that is to do a few articles, and we discussed it in the first session. You got to do at least 2 per month, 1 every 14 days, or 1 per week. I do 1 a week. It doesn't irritate the people if it's valuable. So how do you write articles? I get this question a lot. I can't write. I'm scared of writing. I'm not a best-selling author. Start somewhere. It doesn't have to be the longest article that you're going to write, as long as you understand the topic. So if you take your industry and you take a specific service or product and you dissect it, you start writing with an end in mind of solving a problem for a client. So if I'm going to see an article that is sales or marketing related in my industry and they're solving a specific problem or giving me advice on how to do X, Y, Z in my business, I might scroll over the article and start reading it. What happens the next time when that same person writes an article, they've already caught my interest, I've got a little bit of belief in what they're saying, so I'm going to start following their articles on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Doing that, I have guys, Steve, and this is not because it's me, I've been actively involved on LinkedIn for 8 years now. So I'm connected to just hitting 10,000 specific sales organizations and people in the country. When I walk into the door, so I haven't made a call to a client in 5 years. Literally not 5 years. People come to me via the articles, but not necessarily because of the articles, and here's why. The article will give you the credibility and people will start recognizing who you are, and by the time you walk into the office, it's a very warm business conversation and not a sales pitch. So who are you, Steve, and where are you from, and what have you done before, and who are your clients, and what are your references? Because you've got it all on your LinkedIn profile. And when people ask me, have you got a reference for me? It's on my LinkedIn profile. Go and speak to the people that you want. It's all on the LinkedIn profile. Yeah. The bottom line is, when you start writing articles, the topic is extremely important because that's what catches the eye. So don't write mediocre topics. Make sure that you choose something that's punchy, that will draw the attention in 3 or 4 short words. And I've written articles on why the death of the salesperson, and you get great responses on that. It's short, it's punchy, it's sweet. Or death of cold calling, get huge response on that, because there's a lot of big cold callers out there that will punch me for saying that.
No, sure. My last article, you're probably paying too much for your life insurance. It's a bit of a type, it's the podcast, but only got 20 clicks.
But that's...
Is that
how
good?
many articles have you written?
No, 5.
Okay.
Is that an okay thing to
Brilliant.
start off with? Really?
It's brilliant.
Okay.
It's brilliant. You start with, traditionally you start under 10 with your first article. If you do it regularly, you'll push within a month to about 20, 25 clicks. And as you build your article, as you build your audience, remember it's also related to the amount of people that you are connected with over LinkedIn. So idea is that you build your target audience as you write the articles, and then your interaction gets more and more and more. And eventually, if you can end up with 80 to 100 people interacting on your articles, and you write an article once a week, you got 400 people that you potentially have never met before. That
And you're
are
establishing
reading your
credibility.
articles,
Yeah.
you're establishing credibility. And that is not, and the whole reason for writing an article, so punchy topic, short and to the point. People ask me how many words. As many as it takes to get your point across. Don't write more and don't write less. Don't use the most technical language. Use grade 4 with great spelling, that people can understand what you're saying, especially if you're going to write about the financial services industry and you start using your codes and all your fancy stuff that you got in the financial services. That even CEOs and FDs of companies don't understand your product and your services, Steve. So write so people understand the point and bring the point across. And at the end of the article, have a call to action. What is the next step that you want
yes.
that person to do? Do you want to refer them to a further article? Do you want to refer them to your website for a more in-depth study, for instance? Do you want to refer them something else? So always have a call to action at the end of the article and a short bio about you as the author.
That's it. You know what? Click here to get in touch or drop an email.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what
Let's
I'm
do a
going
short call to discuss. you know,
Brilliant.
And people will come. So once you've done that and you do it regularly, once we get to the next step, understand we're just building credibility and authenticity and thought leadership right now. We are not selling, we are not marketing. This is the starting point. This is step number 1 on automating your prospecting eventually. But as we discussed, the biggest challenge for sales guys out there is not to have the sales conversation. They're traditionally very good at that. It's to get the meeting. So eventually we're going to get there.
That's powerful stuff. So just to sort of summarize writing an article, sum it up so first of all, make it a short punchy heading that's going to draw attention in, that's relevant to the people you're pitching towards.
Yep.
So your industry, your specialization. So if you're in office automation sales, you might have your wasting paper, just deal with it, kind of tagline, and drags in the right people who make, the purchasing managers, the procurement managers. Then you write an article that's succinct, powerful, short, not waffly, and at the end of that article you have a call to action.
Never sell.
No, never sell, of course.
Never sell.
Never sell. So it's informative, educational, without, in fact, read it probably a couple of times to make sure it's not silly.
Yeah,
And then you have a call to action. So
Yeah.
you want to find out more, give me a call.
absolutely. Got it.
Okay. I love that. That's very, very powerful stuff.
Simple.
You know what? At the end of the day, common knowledge isn't always common practice, and a simple concept isn't always simply utilized. So I'm
The toughest thing
stoked.
is for people to do it consistently. That's
It
the
is.
toughest.
And then to find time in
Do
the
it
massively
every month.
busy day.
Don't stop.
Well, the nice thing is I'm doing it probably once a week, maybe twice every 3 weeks.
That's enough.
It is, and I want to start maybe redoing my articles so they're informative. In fact, no, I'm not selling through the articles. I'm very.
But yours are very good.
Thank you very
Yours are-
much.
yours
Thank
are
you.
good. I've read them.
Without a call to action, I need to put them in.
Absolutely.
My friend, thank you very much.
Steve, thank you.
What can we expect for lesson number 3?
We are going to go on to white papers.
White
Because now we're going to start engaging the audience. You've now built it, you've built credibility. Now how do we get you in front of them?
Wow, 2 months in and we're doing white
So we're going to
papers.
start putting it together.
Please don't get sick, because I can't wait
I
another
won't.
5 weeks.
It's winter.
Oh, you've got
We'll do it via Zoom.
3
I'll
weeks.
dial in.
3 weeks now. I'm not going to wait 4 weeks. 3 weeks.
Second week in
Second week in June. You keen with that?
Yeah, I'm in.
I'm excited! If anybody wants to find out more about you, or they want to sort of catch up on last month's session, or they want to kick off their own course with you, or get you in to train their people, which is a good idea, how can they get in touch with you?
www.blueoceansconsulting.co.za.
Simple.
Simple.
My friend, thank you
Or
very much.
search on LinkedIn.
Search on LinkedIn, definitely search on
Okay.
LinkedIn. Show how a professional does it.
Cool.
See you in a month's time.
Steve,
Cheers,
nice.
buddy.
Thank you. Ciao.
Together